Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Gill? Seeing none, thank you, sir. A motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Alder Horton, seconded by Alder Pete. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Next item, please.
Sorry,
No,
item
you're
number 0572-22, communication sponsored by Mayor Mesa requesting permission to expand services and enter into agreement contract number 2022-078 with Housing Resource Incorporated for the Financial Empowerment Center Management. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign said agreement. Fiscal note contract is in the amount of $150,000.
I'll to be in order at this time.
Move to approve. Second.
Be authorized to sign
Oh, is there a line? Can we get that, like, on our end?
Okay.
So they should be able to hear us, but hopefully we won't be getting that feedback.
All right. Vicky Selko is here to speak on the item.
Okay, so, yeah, please proceed.
Good evening, everyone. The, just as a very quick refresher, for those who may be new to this, the Racine Financial Empowerment Center, or FEC, is a city service, a free city service. It is part of a national model. And that model for FECs across the country is that it is the Financial Empowerment Center provides free one-on-one professional financial counseling in partnership between the local government and a nonprofit organization. Since we applied to be part of this national network in 2019, our nonprofit partner in this effort has been Housing Resources Inc., HRI, who has been running the FEC with us since then, incredibly well and confidently. What you have in front of you tonight is simply the contract to extend their management of the FEC and to allow them to now access ARPA funding, which the council approved last fall as part of the budget. This simply codifies that and allows them to actually draw down that ARPA funding to continue to run the Financial Empowerment Center in partnership with the city of Racine. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about that.
Alder Pete?
Thank you. Thank both of you. When you mentioned the Harper Fund, is that in addition to the 150,000 or is that a part of it?
The 150,000 Alder Pete is from the ARPA, from the American Rescue Plan.
Thanks for that clarification. Any other questions? Seeing none, a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item,
Item 0550-22, communication sponsored by Alder Taft on behalf of the Chief of Police requesting permission to apply for and accept the 2021 Bureau of Justice Assistance, BJA Justice Assistance Grant, and renew the local agreement with Racine County Sheriff's Office. Staff recommendation that the Chief of Police be granted permission to apply for and accept said grant. Fiscal note grant amount is $145,050. City matches none. Chief of Police is here to speak on the item.
please proceed, sir.
Good afternoon. One of the things that we do with this grant is we use this to help fund our camera programs around the city, in addition to what the city provides for PT. So it's a grant that we apply for on an annual basis, and we work with the city and the county to make use of those to help us with crime prevention efforts. It's a split with us and then with the county.
Any questions for the chief? No, seeing none, a motion.
Just one
Oh,
quick
sure,
question.
please. Alder Pete, please
Yes.
proceed.
Make sure I'm understanding. It's simply a renewal of what we've been doing.
That's correct.
Okay.
If there are no other questions, a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, moved and by Alder Horton, seconded by Alder Pete. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item number 0549-22, communication sponsored by Alder Taft on behalf of the Chief of Police requesting permission to apply for the local law enforcement Crime Gun Intelligence Center Integration Initiative fiscal year 2022 competitive grant. Staff recommendation that the Chief of Police be granted permission to apply for said grant. Fiscal note grant amount is for $700,000, no city match. Chief is here to speak on the item.
Please proceed, sir.
As you know, Racine is dealing with a lot of handgun crime. And what we've done successfully in 2021 was implement a program called NIBIC, which is the National Integrated Ballistics Network, which allows us to collect evidence of shooting scenes and also guns that we bring in, testify them so they have and identifying characteristics that are unique to each gun. This then allows us to tie individuals to crimes and guns of crimes, showcase of crimes. So this would be an extension of that with software and additional crime analysis that allows us to link analysis.
Sorry. My bad.
Between the people that we arrest, but also people that they know, if we haven't caught them yet. And to give you an idea of how effective your department is acting for you, our violent crimes reduction initiative over there made an arrest on a guy wanted for a shooting. We made a traffic stop on him. We had probable cause to do a search warrant. We got back to his house, and this is a guy that was born in the 50s, and we discovered he's actually manufacturing guns. So we're moving to take this case as a federal case. We're asking the ATF to take it up with the AUSA to put a federal case on this individual for manufacturing guns. So you see a number of firearms that are completed there, but you will also see small parts of metal that are the lower for AR-15. There are 18 of those that he hadn't completed yet.
Oh, my word.
So those are the ones that we know about for sure. So as we go through this with the ATF, we want to find out with him, how many did you actually sell? How many are on the streets of Racine? So this goes into that and helping us address gun crimes. I know a picture's better than 1,000 words, so I'll let you work through the pictures as we go through.
You just individual being cooperative at this time?
At this point, once we decide we're gonna ask the federal to take it, we start asking questions, we let the ATF do the interviews. That way we don't fat finger the case. And we found the handgun that was responsible for the shooting at an individual. He kept shooting up the cars because when he was in prison, this guy was seeing his girlfriend while he was in prison. He didn't like it, so he kept shooting up the car every time he saw him.
Oh, my goodness. Now I'm sure bullets are no joke and bullets going to where they intended to. Yes, please.
I don't have a question, but I just have a comment, and I just wanna, let you guys know, I fully support that. There's been so much gun violence within the city, but also I'm also seeing things on the other end where things are being solved.
Yes.
Just by collecting shield cases that are catching up with individuals. So I'm very supportive of this, and I'm glad to see that, people are being held accountable at this point for the crimes that they are committing.
Yes. People can't say I didn't do it anymore. We should absolutely tie you back to guns. Older people.
Yes, also a positive comment. When I first saw that, or when you first mentioned it, actually, it was one of my greatest fears, because we teach people in technology how to use a 3D printer. And we know some people are obviously they're using them to do exactly that. So I'm in support of the program because it gives us a way of using technology to track all this, et cetera, et cetera.
And in this case, the subject were buying gun parts and assembling in their home.
Yeah, you buy them right off the
In a
internet.
small apartment, in a small
Yeah, you
two-bedroom.
buy them right off the internet,
Yes.
and you print it on a 3D printer.
How many did you say were in the apartment that you mentioned that? I saw the picture.
There are low parts called the low receiver that needs the triggers and the magazine releases and the springs. There are 18 of those.
Okay, yeah.
So he had barrel parts and a number of other parts and grips and things to complete the assembly.
Okay. Any other questions for the chief? Okay, a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Alder Pete, seconded by Alder Horton. And any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, sir. Next item.
0551-22, communication sponsored by Walter Taft on behalf of the chief of police requesting permission to accept the Taft Academy grant. Staff recommendation that the chief of police be granted permission to accept the grant. Fiscal note grant amount is for $66,000, no city match.
This is a grant that our COP officers apply for. TAPS is a nationally recognized program out of Houston that provides a model mentorship program to provide better relationships between young people and police. So we've got assistance from there, we've got training, we've got a number of officers that will be involved. And this is another one of those things that not only does it allow us to continue to build relationships, it allows our young people to see us differently. And for us to provide some guidance to them that for some people who might otherwise not have a mentor and somebody providing them with a good direction.
Thank you. Any questions about this item? Okay, seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, moved by Alder Horton, seconded by Alder Pete. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
Item number 0547-22, communication sponsored by Alder Taft on behalf of Chief of Police, requesting permission to accept the 2022-23 Mayor's Gang Collaborative Grant. Staff recommendation that the Chief of Police be granted permission to accept said grant. Fiscal note grant amount is for $63,400.
All right.
So this is a grant where we share resources and responsibilities with the county that helps to house young people that are homeless that otherwise might get into trouble, and it provides some of the guidance and counseling to them while they're at safe haven.
Okay, any questions for Chief?
No, I just a comment. I just want to say that this has been a grant that the city been getting for years. So but it was just a bigger amount of money and it's dwindled down now.
Yeah.
But this is a grant with Safe Haven, and I'm not for sure is Racine Vocational Ministry still a part of it?
I think you're still
Okay, so with James Johnson, okay. So yeah, this is a grant that they've been collaborating with for years, and so Jeanette Brown at Safe Haven also utilized some of her staff to come to the detention center at Racine County where they're doing mentoring inside the facility. So it's been working well, and this is something I also would support, especially doing mentorship of youth.
A motion would be in order then at this time.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, moved by Alder Pete, seconded by Alder Horton. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, please.
0548-22, communication sponsored by Alder Perez on behalf of the Chief of Police, requesting permission to accept the BJA fiscal year 2021 Smart Prosecution Innovative Prosecution Solutions Grant. Staff recommendation that the Chief of Police be granted permission to accept the grant. Fiscal note grant amount is $53,603. City match is not.
All right, Chief, I will let you speak on this, and then I know Alder Perez would like to speak as well.
Sure. So what you've heard about is we've talked about a number of things that we're doing to use grant programs and technology and people to address gun crime. This is another one of the legs of that table, and it helps us work with the DA in the county because it provides us with a full-time prosecutor to prosecute our gun crimes, and a clerk and also an investigator. So once we catch them, they keep them. So this is designed to help streamline that process so we don't have people out for so long that they are at risk of reoffending or becoming a victim. So we can make sure that justice is served this way.
All right, Alder Perez, would you like to add to those?
Yeah, no,
comments?
thank you very much. This was requested over a year ago, actually about a year and a half ago. And we've seen now, because of time, how important it is to get to the crime scene, develop the leads, and go ahead with the prosecution. So I think this will help us in the city with all the other technology we have in place to move forward with the prosecution of the crimes. I'm very excited for us as a community, because I think we're finally putting the hammer down, and people in the community, the bad guys in the community are taking notice that, you know, they just can't play around. We are actually going to go after them. So I'm very excited about this. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions about this item? Motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Alder Horton, seconded by Alder Pete. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Chief and Assistant Chief and Alder Perez for your comments. And I think that's the end of the police items. Thank you. All right. All right, next item, please.
0546-22, communications sponsored by Alder Cole, requesting permission that the city selling property at 1233 Schiller to Alfredo Hernandez, an abutting property owner. Staff recommendation that the city of Racine approve the sale of the property at 1233 Schiller to Alfredo Hernandez for $3,500. Fiscal note, sale proceeds of $3,500 will be considered program income for CDBG and will be repurposed within the CDBG program. The real estate manager, Mike Lechner, is actually here to speak on this item.
All right. Please proceed, sir.
Evening, we have a piece of property at 1533 Schiller, which is a very small piece of property. It is an empty lot. The city owns it at this point, and if we were to transfer the property, that would be producing tax revenue, and we would not take care of it anymore. And it is too small to build on for us to develop or do anything with.
What is that noise?
Very
The radio.
Okay, sorry, thank you. All right, I thought it was like, okay, okay, so small property, you can't build on it, this person wants to buy it, cool. Any questions?
So you're saying that right now it's more or less a liability for us?
It is a liability, it's not an asset for us. The property actually is only about 41 by 60. So literally it is half of a city lot. So for us, it's just something that we have to take care of.
Cutting a lot of weed.
Right, and snow.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah, is it like on the corner or something?
No, it's
or
mid-block.
It's been- Okay,
it's mid-block, and most of the other properties on that block are through properties. They go from Franklin to Schiller. And they are one piece property. That's originally how that subdivision was set up, that they were not split in half like that. And so we'd like to turn it back into the way it was originally designed.
okay.
Okay.
Great, any other questions?
You mentioned 1633 when you spoke, but it's written 1233.
I'm sorry, 1230. It's 12, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 12.
Good catch, yeah, no, that's great. Okay. Seeing no further questions, a motion would be in order at this time.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, moved by Alder Horton, seconded by Alder Pete. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 0573-22, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason and Alder Taft, proposing that the common council pass a resolution placing an advisory referendum on the November 8th, 2022 election ballot for the purpose of submitting to the qualified electors of the city the question of whether the state of Wisconsin should repeal Wisconsin statute section 940.04, which bans abortion at any stage of pregnancy without exception for rape, incest, health of a parent or patient, to allow legal access to abortion care. Staff recommendation that the common council pass said resolution placing an advisory referendum on the November 8th, 2022 ballot. Fiscal note is NA. I assume Alder Taft would want to speak on this item.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify first that President Tate also wanted to be added to a co-sponsor, and I did not get that request to you in time, so I just wanted to make talk about that front and center. And yes, so we all know that, well, maybe not everyone does know that because of an 1849 law that was put into place before women could actually vote, that, as was pointed out to me by my teen daughter, that because of the state Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade, this 1849 trigger law goes into effect that effectively, has revoked reproductive freedoms in the state of Wisconsin. Now, this would be a non-binding resolution. So one might ask, why would we do this? Why would we have a non-binding resolution in the city at our level? And the answer is really, this is because many of us are outraged, appalled, mourning the loss of our reproductive rights. And in my conversations with community members on this issue, that what I hear over and over again is that people want to have a voice. And currently, folks don't feel like they can have a voice. And I'll be darned if we're not going to give the folks in the city of Racine a voice to at least let the voices be heard on this issue after the Supreme Court did what they did. So I've had many people come to me with stories, folks, personal stories, deeply personal stories. And as a person who can get pregnant and who has a daughter, and as a person who loves other people that can get pregnant, which is about everybody, I think this is really important. We also know that the majority of folks in the country, as evidenced by what happened in Kansas last week, deep red Kansas, people are very much not in favor of their reproductive freedoms being taken away from them. So I think the city of Racine, we can at least give our constituents a voice. So that's what is behind this resolution from my perspective. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I could elaborate, but I would probably just rehash many of the sentiments that you've already expressed. And I'm in agreement with your comments.
Thank you. Okay, yes, Alder Jones, if you have a question, please.
Just a question. I noticed that it doesn't allow us to, I'm not sure if this is pregnant or not.
Yep.
But some women get pregnant, but it's in their tube and not in the womb.
Yeah, this is no exceptions. The current law is no exceptions. Yep.
So I'm saying, would you put something like that on here as well? Is that covered in?
Yeah, I think that's covered. Yeah, so what you're talking about is ectopic pregnancy. So ectopic pregnancies are when there's implantation of a zygote in the fallopian tubes instead of the uterus, and there is no, that's not survivable for a fetus or a mother that that continues. So yeah, there is no exception for that in the current law, which is why I think people need to have a voice in overturning that law. So yeah, that's what that means when it says no exceptions for rape, incest, or health of the patient. That would come under health of the patient, I think. Yeah. Thank you for that
Doesn't need to
question.
be spelled out then. That's why I was.
Oh, there's so many things that could be spelled out, which is why I think health of the patient is, because it's a very complex medical issue. So yeah. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Seeing none, a motion would be in order at this time.
I'll second it.
Okay. Moved by Alder Horton, seconded by Alder Pete. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now I'll go to council. All right, next item.
Item number 0568-22, communication sponsored by Mayor Mason requesting that Racine ordinances, chapter 66, article 2, section 6635 be created to add disorderly conduct towards or harassment of an elected official as an offense, and that ordinance 0009-22 be approved. Staff recommendation that the Racine ordinance, chapter 66 be created to add disorderly conduct. Fiscal note NA. I believe Clerk Coolidge is here to speak on the item.
Okay, and just to clarify, I heard you say elected, and I think it's election official.
Election
Yes,
official,
yep.
excuse me.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's
can't
fine.
see
It's
tonight.
written, yep, it's written that way, yep. And I would be happy to entertain your comments. Thank you for having me.
Correct title.
Oh,
Clerk Coolidge.
Oh,
Clerk
McMenamin, my last name.
McMenamin.
But that's a.
I have it.
So thank you. I'm here to speak on behalf of this ordinance, increasing the fines and redefining the term election official. So for those who are wondering, it's for everyone who is working the election. I believe it comes under a genre, big umbrella of all those who would be there to help serve democracy and work for the election, both before and during election day. So it includes all of the mobile election units, the early vote, things of that sort. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if Lisa has some.
I have a question. I know that this is something, have you seen an increase in recent years in this sort of disorderly conduct? And are you, hearing about other sorts of
Yeah,
planned
so,
activities?
so certainly we definitely had an increase kind of in disorderly conduct, I guess we'll call it, surrounding around elections. There's lots of questions and there's lots of disinformation out there, so I think tensions are high on both sides for elections. And a lot of my election officials are a little bit worried, a little bit more reserved, and I don't want them to feel like you need to hear all these different sides and people yelling at you. You're there to serve democracy and to do the job and to process nonpartisan. And I want to make sure that we're defending them. So we certainly have had an increase. We're certainly working with the police department early on elections and election day, but just having the tools in our toolbox to be able to facilitate that is helpful both from our end as well as I believe from the police officers' end.
Thank you. No, and I know you run a tight ship and do excellent training, so I appreciate all of your hard work.
Thank you.
And in that regard, do we have any other questions? Alder Horton?
No, I just like to say I would be in full support of that because I know in the district where I go vote, there's a lot of elderly people that are working. And I don't think that they deserve to be harassed, fearful of coming back to work. And, these are people that are dedicated, and I've seen them year after year after year during elections. So this is something I would be in full support of and supporting them.
A lot of them have been there a lot longer than I have, so defending them is the first step, so.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and just the heartbreaking testimony from some of the election workers that I saw regarding the January 6th hearings was quite heartbreaking. We don't want any of that here. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Please proceed, sir.
What does otherwise disorderly conduct mean?
Well,
Because you already defined several of them. And is that a generic label for whatever you want to say at the time that it's disorderly?
So
Or
I'd
do we have a specific definition?
no, great question. I'd ask the attorney Letney to maybe elaborate a little bit on that.
So that phrase, which ends with the term otherwise disorderly conduct, is directly the existing disorderly conduct ordinance and the Wisconsin statute 94701, word for word. No person shall in a public or private place engage in violent, abusive, indecent, profane, boisterous, unreasonably loud, or otherwise disorderly conduct. So this is a long-standing law that's been in Wisconsin for a long time, and there's a lot of litigation on it. So first of all, say that's something that's existed forever. This is not something we put up for this. It's existed forever, and there are statutes that have sort of catch-all terms because it's difficult to define every single kind of misconduct or disorderly conduct. And I would note it has to be under circumstances in which such conduct tends to cause or provoke a disturbance. So whatever the conduct is, has to tend to provoke or cause a disturbance. So
There's a correlation
it all
between.
goes together. Right? So there might be something that's not there. Somebody could have, a loudspeaker going, or somebody could be just chanting or blocking an entranceway or something like that. So it's hard to list everything.
So, Paul?
Yeah, please proceed.
So you're saying by definition, because of the legal cases that are involved, trying to define this, that it's really a poorly worded sentence in the state law?
Well, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think that it's difficult to define every kind of conduct specifically. Unfortunately, if you have a list that goes on for however long, there may be something that you and I would both agree is disorderly conduct, but it's not specifically stated. So that's why that phrase otherwise disorderly conduct is there.
And who interprets the otherwise, sort of the arresting officer, the person who's being offended? Oh, how does that get?
Sure. Well, I mean, an officer would have to decide in her or his mind that this is conduct that falls within this ordinance and write the citation. But ultimately, it's the municipal judge who would decide because these.
So it's just a ticket?
It's a ticket.
Not an arrestable.
It's just like our existing disorderly conduct ordinance, this part of it. It's specific in the penalties as to an election official. So we have disorderly conduct today. If people are disorderly tomorrow at the polls, whether or not we have this ordinance, an officer can write a citation for disorderly conduct. This just says, look, if it's an election official, then we have to set penalties.
Okay, any further questions for the clerk or Chair Layton? Seeing none, a motion would be in order at this time. All right, President Tate, move to approve. And here a second, who a second?
Second.
All right. We have a double second. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed? Or any opposed? Okay, motion carries. I just want to say on the eve of this upcoming election, Claire, thank you again for all of your hard work. You do a superlative job with all of this very complex stuff, and we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. That brings us to our next item, which is a closed session item. So would you like to read the blurb? Okay.
I will
Thank you.
read the blurb and then there'll be a motion to go into closed session. It is intended that finance and personnel will convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute, section 19.85 (1) to address a matter that for competitive or bargaining reasons requires a closed session, specifically to formulate collective bargaining strategy and pursuant to Wisconsin statute, section 19.85 (1) to discuss strategy for litigation in which the city of Racine is currently involved, specifically the appeals of the Wisconsin Employment Relations Commission declaratory ruling regarding bargaining issues and employee health plan design.
Thank you. So we will do a roll call to go into closed session, but should we read the items before we go into closed session, or should we read them when we emerge? Okay, then we're gonna do a roll call to go into closed session at this time. Please.
Do we need a motion in a second?
Oh, yeah, so move into closed session.
Second.
Okay, moved by myself, seconded by Alder Horton. And so, yep, roll call.
Alder Tab,
Yes.
Alder West excused, Alder P,
Yes.
Alder Horton,
Yes.
Alder Tate second.
Aye.
That completes roll call to go into closed session.
All right, we will enter into closed session, so if we can make
All
the technology.
Facebook Live.
Yep.
Wait,
It's on my three dots that are here.
Yeah, try here. No. Oh,
do we need to page LIS?
No, it was here.
Okay.
It's like it's right here.
The meeting.